Joanna is just such a great friend to all workers across the state. I mean, she works very, very hard to advocate not only for safety, but for working conditions and hours, and families can be together. In her place, Dave Beck, African Council 31 Regional Director, is going to say a few remarks. So, David.
Thank you all. It's very humbling actually to be here in front of you all. I didn't have the pleasure of knowing Deidre Silas, but I've had the privilege of speaking with many who did and listening to the stories of Deidre that they told. It didn't take long to pick up on two central themes: her commitment to service and her love of children. Deidre sought to combine her passions in pursuit of a fulfilling professional life. Prior to her public service at DCFS, Deidre served more than 7 years at the Department of Juvenile Justice, working in behavioral health. Her choice to serve justice not only involved youth, but also her co-workers through her role as an officer in her local union. After some time away from state employment, Deidre once again answered the call to serve her community and endangered youth when she accepted the offer to become a DCFS investigator. Those of you who attended Deidre's funeral may remember Pastor McJunkins recalling the moment when Deidre reached out to him about getting the job at DCFS, and what a joyous moment that was for her. Deidre was a public servant, a mother, a daughter, a granddaughter, a sister, a wife, a friend, someone who was most cherished. Deidre dedicated her career to helping young people, and on January 4th, gave the ultimate sacrifice in defense of endangered children. While we all continue to grieve what we have lost, it is important that we remember to honor Deidre's legacy. DCFS workers all across this state go out in our communities every day to perform demanding and not infrequently dangerous jobs protecting our most vulnerable children. It is next to impossible to fully grasp the stressors of doing this work, the urgency and the passion that these workers feel about protecting defenseless children, the complexity of family dynamics they confront every day, the contradictory demands made by political leaders and the press. Investigators go into troubled situations with nothing but a clipboard and a pen. They face inherent danger, and they know it. They do not get the recognition they deserve for the stories of the children saved, the lives repaired and rebuilt, or the families reunited. Those stories live only in the hearts of the family and the workers involved. Our union has been working for years now to reduce that stress and those dangers of these jobs, and we won't stop.
Yeah, right.
One example is our union's proposal to give investigators the option to carry mace on the job. A simple ask, after receiving the proper training in self-defense, of course. For years, we could not get agreement with DCFS. This past spring, our union took our mace proposal to the General Assembly and was able to pass legislation explicitly allowing DCFS investigators to get access to that training and to carry mace. While progress has been made, there is so much more that needs to be done. We are here today to honor Deidre, but also to pledge to her memory that we will never stop fighting for safety and respect for DCFS workers. These workers who dedicate their careers and their lives to protecting children and repairing families. AFSCME and our sisters and brothers throughout organized labor will never back down from doing all that is within our control to safeguard against such tragedy occurring again.
Thank you. Your words were very, very good, and that it should not take a tragedy to change the law.
That's right.
Say it again. It should not take a tragedy to pass a law.
Amen.
Thank you. Well, our keynote speaker today is a friend of all of us. Senator Doris Turner, a native of Ward 3 in Springfield, her whole life, Ward 3, yeah. She learned at a young age the value of advocating for others from her father, who was a UAW member. Senator Turner has held those values and fights with a fierce advocate for working families in the Illinois State Senate. And Senator Turner, thank you for being part of our ceremony today, and we'd love to hear a few words.
Here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to tell you that I stand lockstep and in agreement with everything that the previous speakers have said from this podium this morning. As my good friend Tim Dre said, I learned at a very, very early age the importance of unions and the importance of union membership. And I learned and understood what that union membership meant to me and my family, and led to a very good middle class life for me and my family. It's union membership and the values of unions is baked into my DNA. I retired from the Illinois Department of Public Health, and after 32 years of state worker, I never had the opportunity to be a union member, but the day that I signed my retirement papers, I signed to become an AFSCME retiree. So on today and every day when I am among my union brothers and sisters, I really take off that state senator hat and put on my union membership hat, because that's extremely, extremely important. And I get up every day looking to understand and figure out what I can do to make my community and now the state of Illinois better, and a better place for the working men and women of this state. You know, one of the hallmarks of unions has always been, from the very beginning, how can we make our workplaces safer? You know, we talk about the other benefits that come along with that, with regard to wages and insurance and those kinds of things. But the hallmark of union membership is a safer workplace, and how we can have our employees, as Tim Dre said earlier, how you can leave home in the morning, go to work, and come home safe and whole to your family. But as our workplaces have changed, and we are no longer talking about going into dangerous coal mines and dangerous factories and those kinds of things, our workplaces have changed, and we're looking at different dangerous situations that come along with those changes. Much like the dangerous situation that Deidre Simons went into, just for doing nothing more than her job. It's never, whenever a DCFS caseworker or investigator takes on a very difficult situation, they have a passion for children, they have a passion for families, and they want to do everything that they can do within their power, within their ability to reunite families, reunite children with their families, and do what's best for those children. But whenever a DCFS worker walks up to a door, they already know when they get out of their car, it's not going to be a pleasant situation. You're walking into a hostile environment from day one, because you're going there to do the best job that you can, but the people on the other side of that door perceive you as an adversary. They think that you're coming to do something that they don't want to have happen. So when we talk about union membership and safety and safe workplaces, those are the kinds of workplaces that we're now talking about making safer. So I had the opportunity to work with the local AFL union to talk about how I, in my position as an Illinois State Senator, can help to make that particular workplace safer. And that led to me introducing legislation that ended up being House Bill 3850 that has been named the Silas Knight Bill. I worked very hard and very long with a lot of different stakeholders. And I will tell you that Governor J.B. Pritzker was very, very much in support of this bill. I had many conversations with him about this bill. DCFS leadership was very, very much in support of this bill. I had many conversations with them and many others that were in support of it. It was a very simple bill, and what it said was that when a DCFS investigator or caseworker was acting in their line of duty, and if they were battered, it would become an aggravated battery instead of a simple battery, and it raised them to the level, and it actually raised them to the level of a first responder, much like a policeman or a fireman, because that's what they are. When they're walking through that door, they are a first responder. And I thought it was very simple, and I'm like, oh, this is not going to be difficult at all. We'll be able to get this done and get it signed and keep it moving. But unfortunately, we did run into some roadblocks. I was able to work very diligently with my colleagues in the Senate, and we did get it past the Senate. We got it past the Senate with 41 votes, which I thought was extraordinary considering where we started in the beginning. It was bipartisan legislation, and for that I'm extremely proud, because this should not be a political issue. It's not a political issue. It's a workplace safety issue, because like I said before, our workplaces have changed. It stalled a little bit in the House, but what I will tell you is we're not giving up on it. We're going to look to bring it back in veto session, and I promise you that I will do every single thing every day in my power to get House Bill 3850 across the finish line and get it to the governor's desk. As I was working on House Bill 3850, I did reach out to Ms. Silas's parents and had a conversation with them about the legislation. And in that conversation, Deidre's mother talked to me about some issues with her children around their health care. And, we never think about when it just doesn't, it's just not the natural progression of life that a parent would be burying their child and have to deal with all of the things that come after that. Caring for their children and seeing about the welfare of their children. And so it was very difficult to have those conversations, because I understood what was happening and how that whole dynamic of that family was changing. And as she talked to me about her grandchild who needed some significant health care, but when his mother died, his health care died. Yeah. You don't think about that. When his mother died, his health care died. And so I introduced the second bill, which is Senate Bill 3197, that would provide full coverage insurance for Deidre's children. And that they would be able to have the health care that they needed and be able to, have a safe and full life. And I'm happy to say that Senate Bill 3197 did not have any hiccups. It made it through the Senate, it made it through the House, and it is sitting on Governor Pritzker's desk waiting for him to sign it. Sometimes those are little things that you don't think about, but it's significant. It's significant for this family. It's significant for Deidre's children, and it's significant for all those other families that find themselves in this same situation. When I was doing the research on it, we found that there were 8 other families that would benefit from this legislation. So as I take my seat, because Tim did tell me to be brief. What I would say to you is that working together, and when I say we, and when I use that pronoun we, and when I say working together, I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because I'm in this for the long haul. Again, my union support, my union values are part of my DNA, and I say this all the time, right, wrong, or indifferent, that's where I'm going to be standing, in solidarity. So I would ask that we continue to stay strong and vigilant in our support and advocacy for our union brothers and sisters. And it is as we heard today, it is much more than just looking for a fair wage. It is much more than just those ancillary benefits. It's all these other things that go into it. I had the opportunity during the last 2 sessions to work with Joanna on a number of pieces of legislation that don't rise to the level of the 2 that I talked to you about today, but they are important to every single union member that serves throughout the state of Illinois. So, I'm here for it, and I know you all are here for it too, and I will be back asking you to work with me to help move the Deidre Silas Knight bill through the House and get it to Governor Pritzker's desk.
Thank you, Senator. I will say I've been around this business for quite a few years, and I can tell you that Senator Turner advocates and acts like a 20-year senator rather than a 2-year senator. I mean, her voice is strong. And we need strong voices. We need her number standing up for all of us. So before we get to the end here, I'd like to really thank the Springfield and Central Illinois Trades and Labor Council for sponsoring today's ceremony and program. And everybody from the Springfield Trades and Labor could raise your hand so we can give you a special and we couldn't do this without the help of others. And Shannon Garrett right here is chairman of and Amy Ruff here worked tirelessly. Once again, I want to absolutely recognize Joanna Webb Goffin and Magda Charisma for all the work they did. It's vitally important to our families. So with that, Amy, you have an announcement?
So this time we're going to do the laying of the flowers, and we have a rose for each of our fallen workers that are posted on our sign and in your program. And we have family members here from some of those families When we call the name of your loved one, if you'll come up and get a flower and then just lay it in front of our small monument over here. Our original monument, which is on the Capitol complex, is under construction right now, and it's getting a new home on the other side of the Capitol in the next year or so. So this year we're using our mini monument as a place to lay the flowers. We need to clear over here so that people can come and go. But what I would like to ask of my other union brothers and sisters that are here, if we call a name and there's not a family member here to carry the flower to lay at the table, if one of you would come and lay it for them. So we'll be standing right over here, and as the names are read, just come right down here. The names are in alphabetical order for those of you that have family members here and want to edge your way over. And we will begin with the laying of the flowers.
All right, thank you, Amy. We're ready. Again, these names are in alphabetical order. Ronald Adams, WMAY Local 12. Go ahead, Jude. Elaine, M-A-U-R, Ashley. Jerry Alec, IBW 1361. Paul Booth, Iron Workers. Wade Boulding, IBW 1361. Ronald Brinkman, IBW 193. Bruce Britt, firefighters. Chris Brown, firefighters. Melvin Buckles, operating engineers 965. Francis Cahill, IBW 51. Sensei Katu, IBW 1361. Jay Craig, IBW 51. Janet Crane, Ashley. Roger Creason, Laborers 477. David Cummings, Sheet Metal Workers 84. Julianne Dannenberger, IBW 193. Keith Darnell, IBW 21. Sandra Davis, Ashley, Local 805. Robert Denny, Iron Workers 46. Dean Dirks, IBW 51. Edward Drake, IBW 1361. Paul Dunn, Carpenters Local 16. Richard Durbin, Paper Workers Local 26. Ivan Elder, IBW 51. Dwayne Fitt, IBW 702. Steve Furness. Brian Gaffney, Iron Workers 46. Noe Garcia, Roofers 112. Henry Garner, Painters Local 90. Curtis Gazelle, Iron Workers 46. Jack Goldsberry, Senior, Typographical Union Local 177. Roman Gomez, Steelworkers 4294. Norman Griswold, Laborers 477. John Groth, Jackie Groth, Roofers 112. Stephen Head, UA 137. David Ipoletti, IBW 193. John Herman, IBW 193. Michael Isaacs, IBW 309. David Lasley, IBW 399. Pam Knight, AFSCME 805. Michael Lee. James McMillan, IBW 1361. Dan McCoy, IBW 51. Brad Newingham, IBW 51. Pete Mercati, UAW 1027. David Pringle, Steelworkers, Local 1899. Billy Jam Phillips, IBW 1361. Len Piper, Teamsters, Local 916. Jimmy Reeves, IBW 51. Ryan Regan, IBW 51. Randy Reindell, UFWA 1969. Jake Ringery, Firefighters 1692. Melvin Robb, UFWA 1791. Joe Rotherham, Firefighters Local 37. Deirdre Silas, AFSCME Council 31. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Kelly Skiles, IBW 15. Chuck Smith, Operators 965. Mark Thompson, UMWA 1969. Jerry Walter, Carpenter 16. Bobby Ray Wire, IBW 51. William Wozniak, Teamsters 916. John Wessel, IBW 15. Steve Wilmot, Firefighters Local 37. Lloyd Wright, IBW 193. As I read through that list, you can tell that workplace dangers, workplace fatalities doesn't discriminate against anyone or any union or worker. It is something that we all face every day. And again, in honor of these people, Sister Deidre Silas, before we conclude our ceremony, let's have a moment of silence and think about what they have done for us. Thank you. And that concludes the ceremony. I'd like to thank President Costa, Dave Beck. When you're ready.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
I thought it was over, wasn't it?
You're fine. You're
Yeah,
good.
he was over. Oh, you see? Here, go ahead. Picture of that. left, left, right, left, 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 right.
Thank you to the AFFI Honor Guard for With that, with all we do our promise to one another, that we will continue to advocate for workplace safety, and we won't rest until there are no workplace safety. With that, thank you very much.